Nigerian bourse extended the bearish performance for the third straight session, but we're still on track for the best return in 3 years. I'd like to get your interpretation of what we're seeing in the equity space in Nigeria.
My take is that the bear run we saw these past 3 days was most expected. We've seen an equity market that has gained over 30% year to date, and those gains were largely in the past 8 or 9 months. So it wasn't unexpected that some profit taking will take place. But the good thing is that if you look at the days that the market had gone negative, they are marginal negative, like yesterday and the preceding day. They were marginal negative, which means the market is actually operating at what we call a resistance level, where it's difficult for it to break below that. And I want to believe that in the next few days, we may see a turnaround in the market index, and we could see new fresh gains. Remember that we're gradually approaching the benefit season. But most importantly, the fundamentals of the market are such that yield on fixed income instrument is still very low. And we know that even dividend yield on equity instruments are much higher than the yield on the return of fixed income. So investors will still prefer equity instruments, even after the profit taking we've seen the past 3 days.
Quite a lot when you look at what's playing out in the wider macroeconomy in Nigeria. We're still seeing Nigeria still foot drag on reopening the borders here. The president made the pronouncement earlier that yes, we'll see this open soon, but it's been shut since August last year, and quite a lot of impact when you look at. But when you weigh in the pros and cons, and also with the mind that the fact that we are going to have the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement come on board in just early next year, what's the hurry for Nigeria right now?
Well, let me start by weighing on the pros and cons. And for me, unfortunately, the cons weigh higher, stronger than the pros. Take, for instance, the president said that one of the reasons why the borders were closed was to reduce the smuggling of small arms and reduce the level of insecurity. We've seen that heighten over that time. So if the problem was that the borders were used as a conduit, as the route for bringing in arms, illegal arms, then that has not been addressed because, like I said, we instead of seeing a reduction in the level of insecurity, we've seen an expansion in the areas covered by challenges of security. That's one. The other aspect is that clearly, even local manufacturers and business people have been negatively impacted by the border closure. To the extent that the government recognized that, and that's why they granted special concession to the Dangote Cement and BUA and I think one other entity to open the borders specially for them. So whatever compelled the government to consider granting special concession to these other companies also apply to every Nigerian who is doing business. And like you also made allusion to African Continental Trade Agreement, which Nigeria has now signed and submitted back. The closure of the border runs against the grain of that treaty. So I think the government has more compelling reason. The president said the border will soon be closed, be opened. So we're hopeful that in the next few days, they have to reopen the borders. I do not think we have gained a lot of mileage in terms of security, in terms of protecting the economy, as the government had intended. But unfortunately, the negatives may actually outweigh the positives.